What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. A question that sometimes drives me hazy: am I or are the others crazy? The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. There comes a time when the mind takes a higher plane of knowledge, but can never prove how it got there. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. I think and think for months and years, 99 times. The conclusion is false. The 100th time, I am right. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Human beings must have action, and they will make it if they cannot find it. The most incomprehensible thing about the world is that it is comprehensible. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle, require creative imagination, and marks real advance in science. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly. There are two ways to live. You can live as if nothing is a miracle. You can live as if everything is a miracle. Concern for man and his fate must always form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions which differ from the prejudices of their social environment. Most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. Most teachers waste their time by asking questions that are intended to discover what a pupil does not know, whereas the true art of questioning is to discover what the pupil does know or is capable of knowing. I am by heritage a Jew, by citizenship a Swiss, and by makeup a human being, and only a human being, without any special attachment to any state or national entity whatsoever. The years of anxious searching in the dark, with their intense longing, their alternations of confidence and exhaustion, and final emergence into light, only those who have experienced it can understand that. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives. When you trip over love, it is easy to get up. But when you fall in love, it is impossible to stand again. Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. In order to form an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must, above all, be a sheep. I very rarely think in words at all. A thought comes, and I may try to express it in words afterwards. You ask me if I keep a notebook to record my great ideas. I've only ever had one. The world as we have created. It is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales.